A Day Without Pain started mostly as a necessity of the guitar player and mine to find an outlet to our very busy professional lives. We have also played together in a heavy metal band back home, and we had a couple of demos just laying around. We also published some of these demos, but we weren't really happy with the outcome of them. So kind of like the band started right there. As for the name of the band, we had a really clear idea of what the concept of the band would be. I mean, we wanted something to be simple to remember, simple to pronounce, but at the same time a name that would evoke nostalgia and also that would give you a sense of emotional peace. We tried a few names, some of them we liked them, some of them we didn't, but I remember one day I was actually at work, and usually when I'm working I really listen to very heavy metal music. It's just because it helps me just to focus on my work. But this day was one of those very traditional Canadian days. It was snowing outside, it was very gray, and I think that was the reason why I was listening to Enya. And then I started talking to myself and I said, you know man, it would be nice to really have a day without this pain of snow that we have all the time. So it instantly clicked the idea of using Enya song, A Day Without Rain, but instead of using A Day Without Rain, maybe we changed rain with pain, and then that kind of like the idea of A Day Without Pain came from. Also, A Day Without Pain, it's a name that really suits the lyrics and the type of music that we write. I usually start writing the music from the intro of the song, and then I start adding little pieces like the bridge, the verse, and even sometimes the chorus is just the intro of the song. But to me, I have to start writing songs from the intros of the song. I know there are some people that start with riffs and also they start with the chorus and whatnot, but to me, again, it is important to start with the intro of the song. Another process that I follow when I write music is at a certain point of my writing process, I like to stop and then just to play what I have, those early demos, I like to play them very loud. And the reason why I do that is because I need to see images. And what I mean by this is when I write music, I need to see myself headbanging, having fun, or dancing. And it is important for me as well to see the people, the audience that hopefully will come to our shows just doing the same thing. So that's kind of like what I do that. Once I have that idea in my head, then what I like to do is just to send early demos to my friends and also to my wife, especially my wife, because she's not a metalhead and she's very strong critic of our music. So by having a different perspective from people that are in the genre, but also by people that are outside of the genre, it kind of like makes me push myself a little bit further just to find that kind of like sweet spot on the music itself. For Hollow Souls, mostly I work with session musicians, and the reason why I did this is because A Day Without Pain is at a very early stage, and finding the right musicians for this project honestly became a nightmare. So I didn't want to postpone the release of the single, and I didn't want to postpone the release of the project, so that's mostly why I made that decision. If you want to know the people that were involved in creating this single, you can check the credits of the single, but I do want to give a big shout out to Garrett Peters, who recorded the rhythm guitar, and Chris Baum, who recorded the drums. The production process of Hollow Souls was chaos, to be honest. And the reason why it was really chaotic is because working with session musicians, it's great, but sometimes when you have to communicate through messages, through email, even through calls, it is very hard just to get the message of what you want to transmit with your music, like what feelings, like what kind of emotions you want to show in your music. So this was kind of like very hard. Again, great thing is that I had a privilege of working with world-class musicians that helped me in bringing this project to life. The second thing that was kind of like challenging was the mixing and mastering process. And I laugh because the mixing and mastering process, first of all, I'm very picky and I'm very detail oriented. and our guitar player Silvio at Sadwick Studios, this guy is just worse than me, but he has great ideas. So we kind of like bumped heads a few times trying to find the right sound, kind of like making sure that every single note was heard in the recording and whatnot. We tried our best, and I think we achieved what we were looking for, but it was also a very rewarding process. And because we learned a lot from our mistakes, we are actually able to create more songs right now with the established process that we came up with. And I think that's very important to be efficient. But I think what it is more important in this process, at least for Silvio and I, when we work in this project, is that we grew tremendously professionally and personally, and this is one of the most important things when we collaborate. What we intended to represent with the cover art of Hollow Souls is the downtown of the major cities in Canada, and how those places are mostly a war zone of people really trying to ascend the corporate ladder at the expense of losing their sanity, their soul, and their core values. Not that everybody's like that, by the way, but kind of like that's what we try to represent. The cover art was mostly inspired by the movie American Psycho, and also with the cross-reference of Harry Potter, so hopefully you're able to see the reference in there. Why we use AI is because for a new artist like us working on a very tight budget, sometimes it's very difficult to find an illustrator or a person that is able to represent in a picture exactly what you have in your head. As a matter of fact, I worked with some artists that they deliver great art, and what I think it could feed maybe the needs of other artists, but for us simply it didn't meet the requirements that we were looking for. So that's kind of like why we use AI. Honestly, my opinion about AI, I think AI is a great tool, and I like to clarify it. I look at AI as a tool the same way I look at it as Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator. And as a matter of fact, I remember when Adobe Photoshop came into the picture, some illustrators were complaining about it, but nowadays we see everybody, illustrators and whatnot, just using Photoshop. So I think what is happening with AI right now is just simply like technology, and new disruptive technologies just changed. And I think we are just in the process of getting adapted to it. But you tell me what you think about AI as a solution, or as a problem, or as a tool just to help you, let's say, express yourself. Our immediate plans is just to finish recording and releasing 2 new singles, and then we want to look for musicians so we can form a full band before we get into the studio to record our first album. The album is 90% done. We just wanted to leave some room for the musicians that are able to join us, so they can bring their own styles and their own emotions into the music. At the same time, we want to have the whole band together, because as soon as we release the first album, we want to go out there and play our music, and honestly have everybody just to come and have fun and let us know what they think about our music. We have other plans as well, but we're really thinking about those future plans depending on the musicians and the team that we are able to build. So hopefully we are able to achieve those. So if you're in Ontario, if you like our music, if you think we are a good fit for your goals as a musician, just send us a message or record yourself playing our music and tag us into your story. Let's talk and continue to find peace in chaos, one fight at a time.